Hi, I'm Luke Gilfillan. Welcome to the Lounge with Luke Gilfillan. Alrighty, so a bunch of news just popped up over the past 3 days. You may have heard the government shutdown will end quite soon because President Trump agreed to reopen the government while the negotiations were going on with Nancy Pelosi and whatnot. The Trump base is very upset about that from what I'm hearing. But in my opinion, the bigger news is Venezuela's coup. Or not coup. We're not calling it a coup because Guaido is the real president of Venezuela. And, yeah. This is according to Associated Press by Fabiola Sanchez and Scott Smith. Few Venezuelans have ever heard of the fresh-faced 35-year-old lawmaker when he was plucked from an anonymity and named as president of the opposition-controlled National Assembly in early January. The move set up a high-stakes standoff with not President Nicolas Maduro, who is increasingly seen as a dictator both at home and abroad. Instead of backing down, Guaido stunned Venezuelans on Wednesday by declaring himself interim president before cheering supporters in Venezuela's capital, buoyed by massive anti-government protests and support from President Donald Trump, Canada, and numerous Latin American countries, along with the Association of American States, immediately rolled in. I'm sorry. It's kind of early right now, so that might be why my voice is all messed up. I gotta do this before these people come that are renovating our bathroom. They come at like 10 or something. It's 7 right now, but I guess I'll just get it out of the way now. As he was sworn in, he said, "We know that this will have consequences." Moments later, he slipped away to an unknown location amid speculation he would soon be arrested. Last week, Venezuela's feared Sabin intelligence police, that's like the CIA here, pulled Guaido from his vehicle as he headed to a town hall meeting and briefly detained him. And the rival Constitutional Assembly, controlled by Maduro's allies, threatened Guaido and others with an investigation for treason. Key to Guaido's rise to prominence has been timing and behind-the-scenes backing. As Venezuela's economic crisis deepens, with masses fleeing the country to escape runaway inflation on pace to surpass 23 million%, that's a lot. That means that, let's say you bought a $1 bag of chips last year. This year, that bag of chips would cost $230,000. That's how inflated their currency has become. An industrial engineer who cut his political teeth in a student protest movement a decade ago, he was elected to the National Assembly in 2015, and in its first session this year was named its leader. But following Wednesday's presidential self-declaration and a U.S.-led chorus of Western Hemisphere nations backing his challenge, Maduro responded with fury, swiftly cutting off diplomatic relations with the United States and giving American diplomats 72 hours to leave the country. The architect of Guaido's meteoric rise is Leopoldo Lopez, Venezuela's most popular opposition leader, who is muffled under house arrest and considered by government opponents to be a political prisoner. At a time when many had written off the National Assembly, which was stripped of its last bit of power after the government set up a rival Constitutional Assembly in 2017, Lopez maneuvered behind the scenes for his Popular Will Party to assume the presidency of the gutted legislature. He tapped Guaido, serving his first full term as a lawmaker, who rose to the helm of the party in Venezuela after 8 or more senior politicians sitting on Popular Will's national board were exiled in 2014. Guaido has been a loyal acolyte of Lopez for years, standing beside him at a 2014 news conference when the activist announced a strategy of anti-Maduro unrest, which was called the Exit, bitterly divided the opposition because it came less than a year into Maduro's presidency when support for his rule was still strong. The two talk half a dozen times each day, and not a single speech or move isn't coordinated with Lopez first, said one ally, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss internal proceedings. Critics say Guaido lacks a political vision, pointing to his rambling debut speech at the legislature's president, which was full of rhetorical barbs at the usurper Maduro, but short on specifics on how to get out of the milice. Guaido told the Associated Press in a recent interview that he doesn't fear running into the same fate as his political allies. He points to the scars on his neck caused by rubber bullets fired during a 2017 street demonstrations against Maduro. "I have projectiles lodged here," he said. Guaido has endured hardships for much of his life. At age 15, shortly after Maduro's mentor, the late Hugo Chavez, who some people blame for all this, especially late Hugo Chavez, he pretty much did the same things as Maduro when he figured out that his programs of redistribution and nationalization of the oil industry and relying on that solely for the economy wasn't working out so well. He started to do massive inflation in giving that lower inflation rate to his friends so they could artificially make money off of inflation. Late Hugo Chavez assumed the presidency and ushered in a socialist overhaul. Guaido and his family suffered a torrential mudslide that killed thousands and left many homeless in the port city of La Guaira, a short distance from Caracas and home to the capital's airport. "We are survivors," he said. "If they take one Guaido prisoner, someone else will emerge because our generation won't give up." U.S. President Donald Trump promised to use the full weight of U.S. economic and diplomatic power to push for the restoration of Venezuela's democracy. On Wednesday, they responded to Guaido's call by gathering in the tens of thousands in Caracas, waving flags and chanting, "Get out Maduro," in what was the largest demonstration since a wave of unrest that left more than 120 dead in 2017. "The Constitution gives me the legitimacy to carry out the charge of the presidency over the country to call..." Okay, 170 dead in a protest? That is insane. "The Constitution gives me the legitimacy to carry out the charge of the presidency over the country to call elections," Guaido said last week, "but I need backing from the citizens to make it a reality." Okay, and then I'm just gonna play a short clip of the announcement that Mike Pence made recognizing Guaido as the legitimate president of Venezuela, and that's gonna be...
Hola, I'm Mike Pence, the Vice President of the United States. And on behalf of President Donald Trump and all the American people, let me express the unwavering support of the United States as you, the people of Venezuela, raise your voices in a call for freedom. Nicolas Maduro is a dictator with no legitimate claim to power. He's never won the presidency in a free and fair election, and he's maintained his grip of power by imprisoning anyone who dares to oppose him. The United States joins with all freedom-loving nations in recognizing the National Assembly as the last vestige of democracy in your country, for it's the only body elected by you, the people. As such, the United States supports the courageous decision by Juan Guaido, the President of your National Assembly, to assert that body's constitutional powers, declare Maduro a usurper, and call for the establishment of a transitional government. As you make your voices heard tomorrow, on behalf of the American people, we say to all the good people of Venezuela, Estamos con ustedes. We are with you. We stand with you. And we will stay with you until democracy is restored and you reclaim your birthright of libertad. Muchas gracias y vayan con Dios.
Thanks so much for listening. The Lounge with Luke Gilfillan comes out every Saturday and Sunday. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you would be interested in getting notified every time a video comes out, hit the gray bell right next to the subscribe button. Credits, sources, and errors are in the description. If you find an error that I missed, please put it in the comments section. If you are interested in donating to my channel, because I bought recording equipment, which kind of costed a lot, my Patreon, which is a donation site, is in the description. If you have any feedback, put it in the comments section. Toodaloo.